Welcome, everyone. This is the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. Every week, we try to bring you stories that will inspire you in some fashion. Our goal is to explore how technology can serve the business of service. We are a part of Rotary International, 1.3 million clubs around the world, working to improve the lives of those near and far. Our club has a special interest in innovation, education, and entrepreneurship. And especially in the space of education, we have a program today we are very excited to share with you. Our speaker, Kishore Asthana, is the chairman of Project Dhruv. And this is a project of Mensa India, for which Kishore once served as its president. And he is an engineer based in Gurugram, which is a city just southwest of Delhi. You can read the full bio as the entree as coming into this recording. And I will, without any further ado, hand it over to our very special guest. Kishore, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Rushton. And good evening, everybody. And especially good morning, Jens. Today I am going to talk about a subject that has been very close to my heart for the last 6 years. 6 years back, I opened a magic door. And what I saw beyond this door really left me aghast. I saw could have been Albert Einstein pulling a rickshaw. I saw could have been Mike deGrasse Tyson selling tea by the roadside. I saw a healthy Stephen Hawking carrying bricks on a construction site. I saw Watson in Crick, or rather could have been Watson in Crick, sweeping the roads. And I even saw Sheldon and his gang picking whatever they could retrieve from a heap of garbage. Perhaps it was a metaphor for their wasted intelligence. I saw all this and I was truly dismayed. I did some research and I discovered that there are 6 million children in India's rural areas whose IQ is above 130. Out of these, even if you take 0.5%, you have 30,000 children whose IQ will be between 145 and 160. And all their lives, these poor children will be treated as pebbles rather than as raw diamonds as they should have been treated. Nobody will identify them and they will end their lives doing menial jobs. Any nation's most valuable resource is the eclat of its young people, its young children. It's not iron ore, it's not crude oil. It is the intelligence of the young people, and we are wasting it all. So we decided we should do something about it, and we started our Mensa Project Dhruv for the identification and nurturing of underprivileged gifted children. We were inspired by the very dedicated Dr. Narayan Desai of Mensa India, who has started the tribal Mensa project here. And today, we have tested thousands of these children from slums, from poor schools and other things, and selected 208 of the brightest. Most of them are doing very well. Now we have a very good organization headed by the amazing Prabhat Agarwal, and we have psychologists and other volunteers, mentors and everything, and we are quite set to expand. Now, I can tell you a lot of stories about these children, but today we do not have so much time, so I will just tell you 2 or 3. The first is Maya. Maya was in class 7 when her principal called me and said, "Sir, she has stopped coming to school." I went to her room through narrow lanes filled with mud, and I found in this 15 by 15 room, her father lying drunk in a corner, her mother was cooking something in another corner, and her 2 brothers were arguing on a bed which occupied most of the room. Maya told me that she had taken up a job for looking after 2 small children because there was nobody to earn in her family. Her mother used to work on a construction site and bricks fell on her head and she got injured. Her family had been eating raw chapati and salt for the last 3 days. And Maya could take it no more, so she had left school. And she was only 12 years old at that time. Well, we we assured them that we will pay all their living expenses till her mother gets a job. And we found a job for her mother as a cook. Today, Maya is in class 12 in a good school. She will be going to university next year and most probably will fulfill her ambition of becoming an astronomer. The second is Ashok. When we selected Ashok, he was in class 8. He was thin as a reed, and I thought he was in class 5. His mother works in the same school, NGO school, where he used to study, and she is a maid there. And she told me that Ashok does not eat anything when he goes back from school. And I asked him why. And he said, sir, my mother cooks in the morning, and by the evening, the food is cold. The chapatis are like paper, and I just can't eat them. So I asked the mother, why don't you heat the food, or why don't you cook the food in the evening? And she said, sir, I earn 6,000 rupees, which is about $85 a month. And I have 2 children to feed. I have no husband. And there is no money to light the stove twice a day. This really shocked me. We assured them that we will take care of all of Ashok's expenditure for his education, health, everything else, but she must cook twice a day. 2 months later, I met Ashok, and he was grinning from ear to ear. And he said, sir, I eat 6 chapatis now. So now Ashok today is in the first, we transferred Ashok to the Rotary International School here. And today he is in university doing his first year in mass communications. So that was Ashok. But the one which I can never ever forget, and I'm sure you won't be able to forget, is Kumar. When we were conducting a Mensa test, Kumar raised his hand and he said, sir, what address should I write on this form? I live on the street. After a while, I told him, please write the address of the school. 6 weeks later, we went with the result to the school. And I was told that he had left the school and could not be traced. He had failed to qualify by a small margin, but we had decided we'll take him in our program anyway. But that was not to be. There's so many other stories. There is Sabina, whose slum got demolished, whose father died, and her mother lost her spirit completely, and they went away. There's John, who again we transferred from a street side school to Rotary International, and he's doing very well. There's so many other stories. So some other time when we meet, I will tell these stories to you. Now, being from Mensa, I have been talking about IQ, but all of us know that IQ is not the only arbiter of success. So many other things are needed. And I have written a blog called The 9 C's of Success. And if you are interested, please access it, please Google it and you can get it. What are these 9 C's? These are capacity, competence, communication, creativity, which is linked to curiosity, there's courage, there is confidence, there is charm, which is social intelligence, there is calm, which is emotional intelligence. In some mix, depending on which profession she wants to get into, the student needs all of these or some of these. Unfortunately, even if a child has all these qualities in her, in the required mix, she can still fail. And why? Because she has a shadow on her life. All these children have a shadow on their life, and this shadow is stress caused by poverty. It's like a dementor sucking their intelligence. And, chronic stress, it increases the cortisol and the adrenaline. Cortisol shrinks the prefrontal cortex, and adrenaline excites the amygdala, which is the flight and fright response. And between the two of them, there is a cycle going on, and more cortisol is produced, and their whole cognitive ability goes down. And by the time they are adults, they are just like normal people, having wasted all their intelligence just through stress. Now, but they have stress, yes, but we can do something about it. You and I, we can do something about it. And we can be the 10th C for these children. This 10th C is the C for champion. Now, you can be a champion for these children just by giving money. Money is important, and it's only about $80 a month per child to send him to a better school, to feed him, to clothe him, and so on. But more important even than money is that the champion is a cheerleader for the child. A champion is a mentor for the child. A champion is the person who empowers the child, to makes the child believe in herself or himself that they can do it. That is their biggest failure, is they don't believe that they can do it. They have not seen success around them. So that is a champion, and you and I can be champions. We have the superpower to banish this dementor. Now, let me tell you one very important thing. This is not a one-way street. We help these children, and these children enrich our lives much more than even corporate success does. I'm telling you from personal experience. I have found fulfillment here much more than I found in my rather successful corporate career over the years. And so can you. Imagine I'm sitting on breakfast one day, and I get a call from a girl who we have been mentoring for 6 years. And she says, "Sir, today is my 20th birthday. I wanted to thank you, and I wanted to share this special day with you." I get a call from a mother of a child who had typhoid, and we had admitted him to a hospital, and he had just been discharged. And she was sobbing. She said, "Sir, thank you so much for saving my child's life." These are experiences which show that my life has been worth something to somebody. And this is what I invite you to do. Please visit our website, Mensa India Project Dhruv.in. Dhruv, by the way, means the pole star, and that is a sign of symbol of focus for us. So please visit that site, and if you wish to participate, if you wish to become a champion of champions, an empowerer for these people, and potential Nobel Prize winners and all that, please go to the site and see what we are doing and help us do it better. Even if you can't participate in our program, please consider participating in similar programs which are around in other places. Let us try to make this a better world. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kishore. It is wonderful to get the story about what changed your perspective on what's possible, and what is now happening with Project Dhruv. We'll shift to the questions. Before we do, I want to identify the people we have in the recording. If you are on camera, feel free to wave when I mention. Otherwise, I will simply make reference, and that can work as well.
One thing I just wanted to add, this is names of these children I have changed to protect their privacy.
And rightly so. Thank you. From our membership, we have in California, Ferheen, we have Cecilia, we have Shags. In Georgia, we have Tanya. In Germany, we have Jens. And as a guest, we have Aria. Good to have you with us as well. My name is Rushton. I am the charter president of the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley, and a guy who loves to hear about good being done in the world. Let's start the questions with Ferheen.
Great. Kishore, thank you so much for your beautiful story. I really enjoyed hearing about all of those children. And my question is, how do you find these children?
We go to street side schools, we go to schools run by NGOs, and we go to government schools in poor areas. And we talk to their headmasters and principals, explain what we are trying to do, and they almost always permit us to hold a Mensa test there. Then after we select these children, we go to their houses to ensure that these are really underprivileged.
Wonderful.
Tanya has a question that she added in the chat, which is, what percentage of those you help are boys versus girls?
We have at this time 40% girls and 60% boys.
Okay. All right.
We would like the percentage to be the other way around.
Mhm.
And, it all depends, if you go to a girls' school, we will get more girl children and so on. But as it happens, this is the proportion we have today.
All right. Now, when it comes to the idea of IQ, there are a number of competing theories about the relevance of IQ scores and things like that. But when you work with the schools to talk about the talent in these kids, what kinds of things do they typically point to in order to say, this is why we think that this child would be a good candidate for you?
Most of the time, they focus only on academic achievement. And I make it clear to them that academic achievement is great. I mean, it's wonderful to have a child who comes first in class and so on. But there are children who do not even know that they are so bright that they make an effort. I myself was like that. My results till my first year of engineering college were very mediocre. When a physics professor told me that you are so bright, why are you doing so poorly? And it suddenly clicked something in my mind. And after that, I got the university gold medal. I got in my master's, I got the scholarship, and I've never looked back. And this I have noticed in many of these children also. They have been at the bottom of the class. Within a year, they have jumped to the top, just by proper mentoring, by proper information, by giving them confidence. But the principals always focus, the headmasters always focus on academic performance till now. But one more thing is there. We don't even only encourage academic performance. There are Mensa scholars who want to become dancers. There are some who want to become artists. We are empowering all those. So, giftedness has many facets. So no facet should, just because a child is intelligent and he does not want to do something in science or maths, doesn't mean that we should ignore him or her.
Excellent. All right. Cecilia had a question that she added to the chat. Do you know, does Mensa in Africa run any programs like this?
Unfortunately, as far as I know, and I presented this at the International Board of Directors meeting in Kuala Lumpur, and I was told that ours was the only program in the world conducted by Mensa like this. Germany has a similar program, but obviously their poverty levels and all are very different. Spain wants to start a program. Mauritius, I got an email from Mauritius to say that, can you start a program for us like this? And so on. I would love to start this program in Africa or in Bangladesh or Pakistan or Sri Lanka, Nepal, any place, Vietnam. All these places can benefit from a program like this. And we have the blueprint. We have the blueprint to enable them to start this.
Excellent. Farheen, I know you have another question.
Yeah, Kishore, can you tell us more? What happened to the boy in the story, Kumar? The one, yeah.
Not find him.
Oh.
Very sad. We couldn't find him.
I see.
I went again to the school to talk to his friends and all. But he had no fixed address, and probably he went off to some other street. What can we do? There are so many such children. I feel so bad for them.
So in thinking about how to help students become successful, clearly a lot of modern technologies could be useful in having them connect with each other. They experience similar things. Perhaps they can encourage each other. Is there something within Project Dhruv that has the students begin to develop relationships with each other as a way of encouraging their achievement?
Yes, Roshan, there are two things which we are doing. First of all, we are in the process of giving devices, laptops or iPads or something like that to every Dhruv scholar, Mensa Dhruv scholar. Secondly, we have WhatsApp groups. We have a WhatsApp group for Delhi. We have a WhatsApp group for Rishikesh. We have a WhatsApp group for Varanasi, where all these children interact with each other. They share pictures, they share their problems. Somebody writes a formula and says, can anybody help me solve this equation, and so on. That is the second thing. And one important thing is that we encourage senior students to mentor junior students.
Mm,
When you teach others, you learn more yourself.
mm.
That is also what we are doing. And we have occasional meetings, we have leadership classes, life skill classes where all the children come. We take them on excursions. Before this COVID, we took them for an excursion to Himachal Pradesh in the Himalayas, and it was very appreciated. We took them in batches, all of them went. So these are the kind of things which we do. We would like them to interact with each other as much as possible.
All right. I know that you mentioned Germany as another place where a project is developing along these lines, and I remember Jens is actually a member of Mensa in Germany. And Jens, if you would be willing to say a few words about what's happening there.
Yes, I can, of course. It was actually absolutely inspired by Project Dhruv and the Tribal Mensa project in India and the Ferry Porsche Stiftung, or the Ferry Porsche Foundation, the foundation of Ferdinand Porsche, the founder of the Porsche car brand, or yeah, um, approached us and said, we would like to do something similar in the towns where we are present here in Germany, and we are working with a professor at a psychology professor at a German university who has been working with us to develop a program for German children from less fortunate families, or from families where the poverty level, of course, is nothing like the poverty level in India. But even in Germany, you still see quite a lot. Exactly what Kishore described, that basically children from disadvantaged backgrounds don't know that they could even go to university, that they could even be smart, and that they could even use their intelligence to achieve something. And that is not just a problem in India, but of course it's much worse there, but everywhere in the world. And it's kind of also what I think. Mensa is complicated, and there's a lot to be said about some of the ways Mensa hasn't really lived up to its idea to kind of use intelligence for the benefit of mankind, or humanity. But that's kind of one of the areas where I think we can help a little bit by providing that kind of support to children from disadvantaged backgrounds who don't even know that they're smart enough to achieve basically anything.
Excellent. Kishore, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing which I would like to mention, and you'd like to know what causes stress for these children. Some of them told me they have to stand at 4 o'clock in the morning in a queue for a pail of water. Some of them share a bathroom, one toilet, with 25 other people. Some of them don't know that next day their parents will be able to earn any money to give them food. Most of them are sure that they cannot go to university. They cannot afford to go to university. And the biggest problem is they are working, trying to do their homework in a room where everything is going on. Sometimes the TV is on, children are fighting, everything is going on. My ambition in life is also to set up a residential facility for these boys and girls, where they can stay, where they can study, where they'll be taken care of, and they can go to school and come back there in a safe and secure environment. Let us see if we can achieve that.
To think in terms of having these children in a place where they're able to really develop academically necessarily means that we're also talking about separation from the family. To what extent do you think, in terms of having your Project Dhruv scholars act in such a way as to inspire members of their family? Is there, you mentioned in the stories of Maya and Ashok, ways that you had connected with the family, like to talk about, funding more food so that there's enough chapati and things like this.
Yeah.
But tell me more about that element between the Dhruv scholar and the family of the scholar.
One of the most illustrative things here was the case of Priya. This girl told me that she had 3 elder brothers. She used to cook food. She had to cook food for them. She was given food last. and she was considered as an appendage to the family. She was discriminated against. Once she got selected as our Mensa scholar, she became the star of the family. She said, I don't have to cook, I don't have to clean, I am just told to study. That was an amazing transformation.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you know, these children can empower their families. I posted a picture of a girl who became a senior police officer, not our scholar, but she was from a very poor family. Her father was a sub-inspector in the police. And there's a picture of this father saluting his daughter because she became a senior police officer. And that is how they change communities. That's how they change families. I think all these children can make a major impact on their communities and their family. They're first generation learners, and they can even have a major impact on the world. That's what our hope is.
Excellent. Actually, with that thought, we will wind things down. And as we always do, we will hand it back to our speaker for the final words. But for those of you visiting, I hope you will share your ideas with us. At the very bottom of the page, you're going to find the Discuss, DISQUS forum, which is a place where you can post thoughts about what you've heard in our program, what you've seen across the meeting. You can reply to comments of others, and you're welcome to engage with us as we explore the ideas that get shared. There is also an attendance form that we ask you to fill out. It always helps us to have an idea of who's here. And what we hope you will do if you are a visiting Rotarian and looking to make up a miss is just type in your email address correctly, and you will get a message back that you can share with your club secretary so that you can make up that miss. Visiting Rotarians from anywhere. If you've ever thought it's just too hard to be a 100% attender in Rotary and miss out on all of the regular inspiration that's a part of that, our club, which you can find at siliconvalleyrotary.com or rotary.cool, will allow you to make up a meeting anytime. So whether it's 4 a.m. on a Sunday or 11 at night on a Tuesday, you can be dressed in your pajamas, and that's fun. So we hope that you will regularly visit and find out more about the work being done by our club and Rotary clubs around the world. Kishore, I'd like to hand it back to you for the final word.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rushton, for giving me this opportunity. I hope to receive the link for this talk so that I can share it with our worldwide Mensa people and see that other people, Mensa and non-Mensa people, are concerned about this very major problem, this wastage of the most valuable resource that our nation has, that our world has. That's all I can say. Do visit our website, mensaprojectdhruv.in. Thank you.
Excellent. And visitors, you can find these links just below this recording. We will see you next week.
Thank you very much.